on Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, because that would take 3 hours by itself. So we're not going to do that today. But at least we're starting with Alhamdulillah, the first part of the Fatiha. Now when we translate Alhamdulillah, when we translate it into English, what do we say? Anybody know? You can call it out, it's okay. Praise be to Allah. Anybody else heard any other translation of Alhamdulillah? All praises for Allah, all praises to Allah, etc., etc. What I want to start with is actually the difference in between two things. And I want you to understand both of these things. Actually, the word hamd means two things at the same time. It means two things at the same time. It means praise and it means thanks. I'll have to make you repeat this after me. What are the two things that Fatiha means, or Alhamd means? Alhamd. Praise and thanks. Praise and thanks. And by the end of this lesson, I will explain the difference between both of those things, because they are very different. Those are two very different things, and they're combined inside the word Alhamd. But for now, I have to teach you certain lessons, and in order to make sure you understand those lessons, I will be asking you some questions. When I ask you questions, you have to answer me as loudly as you can. This is my way of knowing that you are alive. This is the only way I know you're still there. Okay? And this is not a khutbah of Jumu'ah, so it's okay, you can speak. It's fine, you can call it out. I actually need you to speak to me loudly, all together, inshallah ta'ala. But some of you get really excited and you raise your hand like you have a personal question. I will not take personal questions. There's like 3,000 of you here. I can't do that. But all together you can call out answers. Okay? So what were the two things in hamd? That's the loudest you can do? Really? Praise and thanks. Very good. Okay. Praise and thanks. Now the next piece, that before I get into the surah itself, the next piece I want to ask you to understand is the difference between a noun and a verb. Sounds like English class. The difference between what? Noun and verb. This is important. If we're going to appreciate the Fatiha, then this is important. A noun is a person, or a place, or a thing, or an idea. This is a noun. Right? Masjid is a noun, because it's a place. Nouman is a noun, because it's a person. Hamd is a noun because it's an idea. Hamd is also a noun. That's a noun, basic definition. What was the other thing? There was noun and what? What was the other thing? Verb. A verb is something, either it is past tense, or it's present tense, or it's future tense. So if you say, I prayed, what is that? What tense is that? That's past tense. If I say, I pray, that is present tense. If you say, I will pray, that is future tense. That's all verbs. You understand? Now, this ayah, Allah Azza wa Jalla says, Alhamdulillah. Hamd, I'm not translating it now, hamd is for Allah. So hamd is not a verb, hamd is a noun. When the khatib gives his khutbah, he says, Inna alhamdulillah, nahmaduhu, wa nasta'inuhu, وَنَسْتَغْفِرُهُ. You heard this before? Right before you go to sleep, you hear that? Right? نَحْمَدُهُ وَنَسْتَعِينُهُ وَنَسْتَغْفِرُهُ. Now he says, we praise Allah. He says, we praise Allah. Is that past tense or present tense or future tense? We praise Allah. That's present tense, right? So that's a verb. So the khatib uses a verb. But Allah, when He said Alhamdulillah, what did He use? He used a noun. So there's a difference we have to understand. Why don't we say, we praise Allah? Nahmadullaha Rabbil-ALEMIN ar-Rahman ar-Rahim Maliki yawmiddin. No. Allah makes us say, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil-ALEMIN. Now I told you, noun is a person, place, thing, or idea, and a verb is either what? What is it again? Either past tense, or present tense, or future tense. Tell me about a noun. Is a noun past tense, or present tense, or future tense? No. A noun does not have tense. A noun does not have tense. You know what that means? A noun is permanent. A noun is permanent. And a verb is what? If a noun is permanent, then a verb is temporary. It's not forever. Allah used alhamd because His hamd is permanent. If we say we praise Allah, that's present tense, which means we said nothing about the past. Was there hamd of Allah in the past? Yes, but we didn't say it. Is there going to be hamd of Allah in the future? Yes, but we didn't say it. We only talked about what? The present. That's limited. But Allah describes His hamd that covers the past, it covers the present, it covers the future. It is beyond time. So He says alhamd. It's permanent. There's a big difference between saying I praise Allah and we praise Allah and alhamd belongs to Allah. It's permanent. You understand that first point? Now the second point. When I say I praise Allah, who's praising Him? I am. If I say you praise Allah, who's praising Him? You are. If I say the Muslims praise Allah, then who is it that's praising Allah? The Muslims. In other words, whenever you have a verb, you have to have someone to do it. You cannot just have a verb, you have to have someone who does it. You cannot just say ate. Who ate? You cannot just say died. You have to tell me what? Who died? Somebody has to do the verb. You can't just have a verb by itself. Can you have a noun by itself? Yes. A noun doesn't need someone to do it, but a verb needs someone to do it. If Allah gave us nahmadullah, we praise Allah, then who would be doing the praise? We. But the hamd of Allah does not need a doer. Whether all of us are doing the hamd of Allah or none of us are doing the hamd of Allah, if the entire samawat wal ard, the skies and the earth, all of creation is doing the hamd of Allah, or nothing is doing the hamd of Allah, there is still the hamd of Allah. It does not depend on us. See, a verb depends on the doer, but a noun depends on nothing. A noun depends on nothing. So Allah made His hamd independent of us. Whether you and I do hamd of Him or not, it is still there. Whether I remember Him or not, the hamd of Allah is still a fact. The hamd of Allah is still a fact. It's a reality. It's beyond us. SubhanAllah. The reason I'm telling you these examples is because we say Alhamdulillah all the time. And sometimes, because I'm a student of language, in language there are many ways of saying things. You can praise Allah in many ways. You can say, hamd belongs to Allah. You can say, we praise Allah. We can say, you must praise Allah. Praise Allah, like an exclamation, like a command. You could say that. But does it make a difference? Yes, it does. And which one did Allah choose? The perfect one. If you choose any other option, something is missing. And that's why I want to explore all the options. What are these other options and why are they missing something? And when you explore all of these options, you really appreciate how perfect Alhamdulillah is. How perfect it is. Now let's take another step. I told you the difference between what two things now? What two things I forgot? You tell me now. Nouns and which one is permanent? Come on, come on, come on. Nouns, which one is temporary? Verbs are temporary. Allah used which one in Alhamdulillah? He used a noun. He used alhamd. Now what if you say hamdun lillah, not alhamdulillah? You see the al in the beginning? Alhamdulillah. Why not just say hamdun lillah? Just take the lam off. You know what that would mean? That would mean some hamd belongs to Allah. Some hamd belongs to Allah. But by putting al, it's called lam al-istighraq, which means all hamd. Every hamd, the perfect hamd belongs to Allah. So even the al is important. Even that's important. Now let me take you even further. You have to pay extra attention to this part. This is a hard part. But I have to try to make it as simple to understand as possible. The khatib gets up and he says, Innal hamdalillah. When he's really excited, he doesn't say Innal hamdalillah. He says, Innal hamdalillah. And you're like, oh, this is going to be one of those powerful khutbahs. Now what word does he use? In the first word, what did he say? Inna. Does the Quran say, Innal hamdalillah Rabbil-ALEMIN? No. Anyone know what inna means? It means for sure, without a doubt, definitely. Definitely. I don't like to use verily because I don't know what that means. I don't know, have you ever used verily in your life? Anywhere? You go to the store and say, verily I need a discount? You ever say that? No? So if you don't use it, then you don't have to use it for translating Quran. Okay, leave it alone. For sure, definitely, hamd belongs to Allah. Now doesn't that sound powerful when you say definitely, hamd belongs to Allah? It's a very powerful way of speaking. The question is, if it's powerful, then how come Allah didn't say it? Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Doesn't He say that? إِنَّ اللَّهَ عَلِيمٌ بِذَاتِ الصُّدُورِ. He says that. إِنَّ اللَّهَ بِمَا تَعْمَلُونَ خَبِيرٌ. He says that. He says إِنَّ اللَّهَ all the time. How come He doesn't say what? إِنَّ الْحَمْدَ لِلَّهِ. I'm even more confused because the Khatib says it. The Khatib has no problem saying it. So what's the difference between Inna alhamdulillah and alhamdulillah? And why is alhamdulillah perfect? Why is it perfect? I have to tell you the difference between two more things. First I told you the difference between nouns and verbs. Now I have to tell you the difference between two kinds of sentences. Sentences of information, sentences of information, and sentences of emotion. Sentences of information and sentences of emotion. So informational sentences and emotional sentences. Let me give you a simple example. If I am teaching you, I am giving you what? Information. Information. So I am teaching you something about Alhamdulillah. That is informational. If somebody comes to me, some non-Muslim comes to me, a Buddhist comes to me and says, I want to learn about Islam. And I say, in Islam, all praise belongs to Allah. Alhamdulillah. I'm teaching him. Is this informational or emotional? This is informational. I get a phone call. I get a phone call. On the phone call, my wife says, the baby, she went to the doctor, she's okay. The baby's okay. And what do I say when I hear the baby's okay? I say Alhamdulillah. But when I say Alhamdulillah, am I being informational or emotional? It's emotional. So sometimes I say Alhamdulillah and it's information. And sometimes I say Alhamdulillah and it is what? Emotion. Okay, for those of you that are students of Arabic, this could be the difference between Jumla Insha'iyya and Jumla Khabariyya. But that's okay, it doesn't increase your iman. Relax. It's information versus what? Emotion. That's what I gave you. Now here's the rule of Arabic. The rule of Arabic is if you use inna. If you use what? Inna. It can only be informational. If it is inna, it has to be about what? Information. And if it is about information, it cannot be about what? It cannot be about emotion. But if you don't use inna, then it could be informational and it could be emotional. When the student of Tefsir is sitting down with the books and he's learning about Alhamdulillah, his experience of Alhamdulillah is informational. But when that same student is standing in front of Allah and reciting the Fatiha, then Alhamdulillah is what? It's emotional. You see? Allah kept both. So that it's not just speaking about our aql. Alhamdulillah is also about our qalb, about our heart. It's also about the emotion. It's perfect. The Khatib is informing you. He's reminding you. So he says, Alhamdulillah, that's fine. But Allah is speaking about both. The heart and the mind. So he says, Alhamdulillah. Now let's go on. So I gave you the comparison between nouns and verbs. I gave you the comparison between emotional and informational. Just to appreciate Alhamdulillah a little bit. Let's take some more steps. One more step. What if we say, Ihmadullah, praise Allah, like a command? Isn't Allah the authority, so He has the right to command us? He could tell us to do something, so He could have said, Ihmadullah Rabbil Alamin, do hamd of Allah, do it. It could have been a command. Now let me tell you about commands. First of all, commands are interesting language because when you give a command, there are only two possibilities. If I give my daughter a command, I tell my daughter, Husna, bring me some water. I gave her a command. There are two possibilities. Here's possibility number one. She will bring me some water. Here's possibility number two. She will bring me some water. There's two different possibilities. Now for the rest of you, there may be two different possibilities. I ask you to do something, either you do it or you don't do it. If you do it, it happened. If you don't do it, it didn't happen. In other words, the ball is in your court. You are in charge now, because it's your responsibility now. Allah did not say you, praise Allah, because then it would depend on us, but the hamd of Allah doesn't depend on us. It doesn't depend on us. That would mean if we do it, it happened. If we didn't do it, the hamd didn't happen. No. Hamd is already there. Allahu huwa al-Ghaniyyul Hamid. One time when I was in college, there was an atheist student who came to me and said, why does your God want us to praise Him so much? Why does He want us to pray to Him 5 times, say Alhamdulillah, say praise Him all the time? Why does He need our praise? And I said, listen my kafir friend, I want to explain to you that actually in Islam, Allah does not need your hamd. How do I know? Because He said Alhamdulillah. He doesn't need us. It's already there. It's already a fact. You can't change it. So I told you, in Alhamdulillah, that is just informational, and Alhamdulillah is informational and also emotional. But you know, when you have Eid, and Ramadan is coming, after Ramadan there's going to be Eid, and in Eid you're going to dress nicely, and you're going to stay up after Fajr for a change. And when you stay up after Fajr, you're going to walk to the prayer. When you walk to a prayer, you're going to take a different path. Not your normal way, you're going to take a different way. And when you're walking and you're going, what are you going to be saying? What are you going to be saying when you're walking to the prayer? Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. What's the last part? Walillahil hamd. Walillahil hamd. The Fatiha says what? Alhamdulillah. You say what? Lillahi alhamd. What's the difference? Is it the same words? It's the same words. Alhamdulillah and what? Lillahi alhamd. It's the same words, but the difference is what? The reverse. Lillahi was at the end, now it's in the beginning. Alhamdu was in the beginning, now it's at the end. They're flipped over. Does it make a difference? Everything makes a difference. Everything makes a difference. Why do we say Lillahi alhamd? How come Allah says what? Alhamdulillah. He doesn't say Lillahi alhamd. He says Alhamdulillah. Actually, at the end of Surah Al-Jathiyah, at the end of Surah number 45, He does say, وَلِلَّهِ الْحَمْدِ رب السماوات ورب السماوات ورب الأرض رب العالمين. He does say لله الحمد. He does say it in the Quran. Many times He says Alhamdulillah, like Alhamdulillah الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا. He says it. He says Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. He says it, but sometimes He also says what? Lillahi alhamd. So there has to be a difference. Now let me explain this to you in English, easy to understand, inshallah. I say, which one would you pick? Which one is normal? I'll give you 2 choices. Choice number 1. I prayed Maghrib. That's choice number 1. I prayed Maghrib. Here's choice number 2. Maghrib, I prayed. Choice number 1 was, I prayed Maghrib. Choice number 2, Maghrib, I prayed. Which one is normal English? First one is normal, yes? Even though Maghrib, I prayed, it sounds like Star Wars a little bit, you know, but still it's understandable. It's still understandable, Maghrib, I prayed. It's strange, but it's still good English, actually. Which one is normal? I ate lunch or lunch I ate? I ate lunch, that's normal. Lunch I ate sounds strange. Okay? I saw you. You I saw. Which one is normal? I saw you. Hamd belongs to Allah. To Allah belongs hamd. Which one is normal? You tell me, call it. Hamd belongs to Allah. To Allah belongs hamd. Which one is normal? Hamd belongs to Allah is normal. I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong. I'm saying one of them is normal and one of them is unusual. It's not wrong, it's just unusual. It's not normally used. You understand? Now here's the secret behind it. When the Arabs use this unusual order, then actually what they mean by that is only. When they use the unusual order, then they mean what word? Only. They don't have to say the word only. They just use an unusual order. In other words, I ate lunch is normal, but if you say what? What's the strange way of saying I ate lunch? Lunch, I ate. The Arab actually means by that, I only ate lunch. I did not have breakfast, I did not have dinner, only lunch. That's what he means. So when he makes the sequence, the order strange, he means what word? What's the word that comes in? Only. I'll give you an example about that. When I used to be a teacher, I used to have boys and girls in my class, and there were two girls I remember, Zainab and Fatima in the back. They used to talk to each other all the time. So I called Zainab, hey Zainab. She says, I wasn't the only one. Now when she says I wasn't the only one, what is she saying? If I'm going to the principal's office, Fatima's coming with me. You understand? But she did not say Fatima was talking to. I wasn't the only one, it was also Fatima. She only used the word what? Only. And just because she used the word only, I understood that she's telling me something more. She's telling me something more. If somebody says, I'm not your only friend, I am not your only friend, then what are they saying? You have more friends. They mean something more. Allah says, hamd only belongs to Allah. When He says, Lillahi al-hamd, Lillahi al-hamd, when we're praying the Eid prayer, we say Lillahi al-hamd. Surah Al-Jathiyah says, Lillahi al-hamd. Lillahi al-hamd means hamd only belongs to Allah. You understand? Now when you say hamd only belongs to Allah, are you saying something else too? Yes. You know what you're saying? Hamd only belongs to Allah. Finish it. Think. Finish. Hamd only belongs to Allah. It does not belong to anyone else. Now when do you talk like that? Hey, hamd only belongs to Allah. It does not belong to anyone else. You talk like that when you are debating with someone, when you're arguing with someone, when you're correcting someone, when you're fixing someone. Then you say, hey, hamd only belongs to Allah, not anybody else. You understand? Now Surah Al-Jathiyah, the whole surah is a debate with the people who do shirk. Debate with who? The people who do what? Shirk. Now if the people who do shirk, they do hamd of Allah, it's true. They do hamd of Allah. But the problem is they do hamd of other things too. If you tell a mushrik, Alhamdulillah, maybe he has no problem. He says, okay, I'm good. Hamd belongs to Allah. And also, then he adds some more. This actually happened to me one time. I was driving in Louisiana, and I was running out of gas, so I stopped for gas in my car, and it's a bad idea to stop in Louisiana, but I stopped. And a guy pulled over, and he had a pickup truck, and a shotgun in the back, and a cowboy hat, and I had a thobe on, and I'm getting gas, and he's getting gas, and he looks at me. And he goes, you from Islam, boy? I was like, no, from New York. But then I just said to him, I said something to him. I said, hey, praise the Lord. I said to him, praise the Lord. And he goes, amen, brother. I agree. He walked away. Because when I say praise the Lord, what's he thinking? Maybe he's thinking Jesus, maybe he's thinking something. I don't know what he's thinking. You understand? And I'll come to that in a second. When the mushrikun were told, hamd only belongs to Allah, this was important because they have to learn that hamd is only for Allah. But when Muslims are talking to each other, When Muslims are talking to each other, when I'm talking to my mother, I'm talking to my wife, I'm talking to my father, I'm talking to my brother, I don't say, hey, Baba, hamd only belongs to Allah, okay? Nobody else. You got it? You good? Okay. So I don't say lillahi alhamd. What do I say to him? Alhamdulillah. So the one who knows, you say to him what? Alhamdulillah. The one who doesn't know and is doing the wrong thing, what do you say to him? Lillahi alhamd. You know why that's beautiful? Because Allah told us in Fatiha that every human being already knows. It is inside of them, it is in their fitrah. So there's no need to argue with them. You begin Fatiha with Alhamdulillah because inside the heart of every human being, there is no argument. There is no argument. That's why it begins with Alhamdulillah. If the Fatiha began with Lillahi alhamd, that means the Quran begins with arguing with people. Debating with people. The Quran did not begin with that. Sometimes there is need for debate. So Allah debated them. Now I said it 3 times. Tell me which surah? Which surah? Jathiyah. Allah did debate. Sometimes there's a need for debate. But for all of humanity and all of the believers, there's no need for debate. So he begins, Alhamdulillah. Now, let's move a little further. We say Alhamdulillahi, what's the next words? RABIL-ALEMIN. What if I said this? Tell me what's missing. If I say Alhamdulillah RABIL-ALEMIN, Alhamdulillah RABIL-ALEMIN, Hamd belongs to RABIL-ALEMIN. What's missing? The word Allah. Why do you have to have the word Allah there? You could just say Alhamdulillah RABIL-ALEMIN, or Alhamdulillah Rahman, or Alhamdulillah Rahim, or Alhamdulillah Khaliq. Allah has so many names. You could pick any name. Why put the word Allah there? What point is that? What's the benefit of it? Let me tell you something. When you get introduced to someone, for the first time you meet someone, you say, Assalamu alaikum. Then what do you say? What's the first thing you say? My name is so-and-so. And after you introduce them with your name, then you tell them something about yourself. You do not meet someone new at the airport when you turn to them and say, Assalamu alaikum, I'm a teacher. You do that. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Abdul Kareem, I'm a teacher. You understand? First you say your name, then you describe yourself. Fatiha is Allah introducing us to Himself. Allah is introducing Himself. And when you introduce yourself, what's the most important thing? Your name. Name is important. Here's the other thing. But then Allah Himself says He has many names. Give me one of Allah's names. Call it out. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Khaliq. What else do I hear? Come on. Al-Quddus, Al-Jabbar, Al-Aziz, yes? Now tell me something. If we say Alhamdulillah Khaliq, then Hamd is for the Creator, yes? So that means I am only grateful to Him and I'm only thanking Him because He did what? He created. If I say Alhamdulillah Hakim, I'm only grateful for His wisdom. If I say Alhamdulillah Alim, I'm only grateful for His knowledge. If I say Alhamdulillah Quddus, I'm only grateful for His sanctity, His purity. If I say Alhamdulillah Rahman, I'm only grateful for His mercy and His love. But I want to be grateful for Him, for His guidance and His creation and His mercy and all of it, all at the same time. That's too many names. Oh my God, how am I going to thank Allah for everything? Allah, only He can teach us. So He gave us one word. One word. And that one word has all of Allah's name inside it. All of them at the same time. Which one word is that? Allah. So He said, you say Alhamdulillah. There's no better way to praise Allah than Alhamdulillah. You can't do it. Anything else will be limited. Anything else will be limited. Now understand one more thing here. This is actually really fun. We'll talk about this on Sunday, those of you that are staying for the whole seminar, inshallah. Musa alayhi salam was with Harun alayhi salam, and they were arguing and debating with who? And finally Musa alayhi salam had a challenge with the magicians. And the magicians eventually were defeated, and when they were defeated, they fell into sajda. The magicians fell into sajda, and Fir'aun is confused. Like, what happened? Are you tired? You need a break? Or you want to take 5-minute recess? We come back and discuss more? What do you want to do? So he doesn't understand what happened. Fir'aun is confused. So they get up from sajda. The magicians get up from sajda in Surah Al-Shu'ara. And they say, آمنا برب العالمين. آمنا برب العالمين. We believe in رب العالمين. Did they say آمنا بالله رب العالمين or آمنا برب العالمين? آمنا برب العالمين. No mention of Allah. So they only said we believe in the Rabb. The problem is, Musa alayhi salam is talking against who? Fir'aun. And Fir'aun thinks that he is himself what? He thinks he is Rabb. Doesn't he think he's Rabb? He says in the Quran, فَقَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. He calls himself Rabb. So when the magicians say, we believe in the Rabb, what might Fir'aun think? Fir'aun might think, I know. You see, there's room for confusion. So the magicians, they said, آمَنَّا بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Then they turned to Fir'aun and said, no, stupid, Rabbi Musa wa Harun. That's the next ayah. Not you, the Rabb of Musa and Harun. Not you. Because when you don't mention the word Allah, is it possible somebody else believes in the incorrect Rabb? Is that possible? Fir'aun believed in himself as Rabb. The mushrik might believe in something else as Rabb. So if the Fatiha began with Alhamdulillah, everybody else might have a different concept of Rabb. So Allah made it explicitly clear, this will begin with Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. So there's no confusion left. You understand? When I started this is the last part before your 5-minute break now. Last part. I started by saying there's a difference between praise and thanks. Now I have to explain that difference. You have to understand that difference. And Alhamd includes what? Both praise and thanks. If it was only thanks, the words would be Ash-Shukru Lillah. If it was only praise, it would be Al-Madhu Lillah or Al-Thana'u Lillah. That would be only a praise. But Allah said Alhamdulillah, which is both praise and thanks. يعني جمع بين الشكر والثناء. Okay, you combine both of them. Now, let's understand this a little bit. You go to a family's house who had a baby. They have a aqiqah party. You go to their house. You see the baby. Do you praise the baby or do you thank the baby? You praise the baby. Oh, so cute. Even it looks like an old man, you still say, oh, cute, so cute. And when you're saying it's so cute, and it's so hairy, and it looks like a dinosaur, whatever you're saying, you're not thanking, you're what? Praising. When you walk by a nice car, you walk by a Porsche or something, do you praise the car or you thank the car? It's a nice car. You don't go to the hood of the car and thank you Porsche. You don't do that. If you do that, see me afterwards. I have some psychiatrists that I can recommend to you. You don't do that. So you praise, but you don't what? You don't thank. So sometimes you can praise without thanking. It's possible. There are people watching the World Cup. They're praising the team, but they're not what? They're not thanking the team. They're not thanking the team. Now, sometimes you can thank without praising. That's also possible. Let me give you an example. Ibrahim alayhi salam was raised in a house that was full of shirk. So his father, and some Mufassirun say his uncle, Azar, builds idols. Ibrahim alayhi salam is commanded, he has to be grateful to his parents. Anishkur li wa liwalidayka is a commandment to all prophets. All prophets brought the same thing. So he has to say thanks to his father. He thanks him, but he will never what? He can't praise him. He can't praise what he does. But he still has to what? Thank him. Musa alayhi salam was raised under Fir'aun. Musa alayhi salam will thank him. He will thank him in the Quran. وَتِلْكَ نِعْمَةٌ تَمُنُّهَا عَلَيَّ. That is a favor you did for me. I owe you praise. I owe you thanks. But he will never what? He won't praise him. What I'm trying to tell you is there's a difference. Sometimes you only praise and sometimes you only thank. Those are two different things. Alhamdulillah, what are we saying? Praise and thank. at the same time. Now in English, I have to use two words: praise and thanks. And when in linguistics, when you use two words, you are separating them. In other words, sometimes I praise Him and sometimes I thank Him. But in the Arabic of the Quran, it is one word, which means both of those things are always together all the time. I don't praise Allah sometimes and thank Him some other times. I always praise Him along with, at the same time, I also thank Him. They are never separated. In other words, when you see a beautiful mountain, you don't just praise Allah, you also thank Allah. And when you are going through difficulty, and I'm going through difficulty, Akhi, how are you doing? Well, I lost my job. How's the finances? Things are pretty bad. Well, Alhamdulillah. Now sometimes people say Alhamdulillah, but they don't mean it. Like, Alhamdulillah. Does that sound like you're thanking or praising? The attitude. By the way, alhamd, remember, it's not only informational, it is also what? Emotional. So you have to have the emotion of praising Allah and thanking Allah when you say Alhamdulillah. You have to have both of those things. No matter what is happening in the life of a Muslim, he goes back to this one thing and everything is fine. And that one thing is Alhamdulillah. This is one thing. Everything it works out. It works out. We have to have the attitude that we praise and thank Allah for everything that He does. فَنَشْكُرُهُ عَلَى الْمَصَائِبِ كَمَا نَشْكُرُهُ عَلَى النِّعَمِ. We thank Him in difficult times the same way we thank Him in easy times. That's Alhamdulillah. You remember Alhamdulillah is permanent? Do you remember that? Which means no matter what is happening, Alhamdulillah is still true. No matter what is happening in your life, this is a reality, it doesn't change. The weather changes, your health changes, life changes, Alhamdulillah doesn't change. But for some people, Alhamdulillah is working in Ramadan, Alhamdulillah is working when the money is good, and Alhamdulillah disappears when money disappears. Alhamdulillah disappears when family problems start. You can't, it's permanent. Allah described it Himself as permanent, so we have to have a permanent attitude towards the hamd of Allah. So these were a few lessons from just what? Alhamdulillah. I don't know how we're going to get through the whole Fatiha, but it'll go faster from here, inshallah. I promise. It'll go. The first one I had to go on. But can you imagine the scholars of Islam, the ulama of Tefsir, they went through the entire Quran word by word by word by word like this and said, why is this so beautiful? Why is this so perfect? What is the benefit of this? What is the benefit of that? What if I say it another way? Why isn't it good enough? And they did this exercise for the entire Quran. SubhanAllah. What an incredible book. What other book is there going to be where scholars and people will dedicate their whole life exploring every word like they're figuring out a treasure? There are people who put less effort into finding treasures in the earth, and we're trying to find the treasures in Allah's word. May Allah Azza wa Jalla make that struggle easy for us. Now sit, relax, make a new friend, say Assalamu alaikum to them, while I walk over peacefully over there and say salam to the sisters and take some questions for 5 minutes. I have a watch. 5 minutes, I'll be back. No pictures. Okay. Yeah. Ready?